Om Shrimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopashantaye Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmalasphatiकाकृतिम् Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrivamupaस्महे Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhirbhavatu Me Sada Yatpadambhorhadhyana Vidhvasta Sheshakalmashah Vastutamupayaatoham Yamuneyam Namamitam Yo Nityamachyutapadambujayugma Rukma Vyamohatastaditarani Tranaya Bene Asmadguror Bhagavatosya Dayaika Sindhoha Ramanujasya Charanau Sharanam Prapadye. Offering my pranamams to everybody who is assembled here, we'll start the next session. In the previous session, we saw the summary shloka of chapter 15, that is the Purushottama Yoga chapter, where Swami Yamunacharya had said that Achin Mishrat Vishuddhat cha Chetanat Purushottamah Vyapanat Bharanat Swamyat Anyah Panchada Shoditaha. That was a summary of the 15th chapter. Now we go to chapter 16, which is the Daiva Sura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. So the yoga of the divine, Daivi Sampat and the Asuri Sampat. So Daivi Sampat means divine qualities, divine types of people, and Asuri Sampat means demonic types of people. So in this world there are these two types of people, and a lot of us are combination of both Daivi and Asuri. In some aspects we are having demonic divine qualities, and some aspects we are having demonic qualities. So Lord Krishna gives a clear delineation of the divine and demonic characteristics in this chapter, which has 24 shlokas. So we will look at the Geetaartha Sangraha shloka by Swami Yamunacharya. Devasura Vibhagokti Purvika Shastravashyata Tattvanusthana Vijnanasthemne Shodasha Uchyate. Devasura Vibhagokti Purvika Shastravashyata Tattvanusthana Vijnanasthemne Shodasha Uchyate. This is the shloka 20 of the Geetaartha Sangraha, corresponding to chapter 16, Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. Now let us look at the meaning of this particular shloka. So, Tattva Anusthana Vijnana Sthemne. So, if you remember in the Mangala shloka of the Sri Bhashyam, in the Sri Bhashyam Mangala shloka, Bhagavad Ramanujacharya says, Akhila Bhuvana Janma Sthema Bhangadi Lile. So that Sthemne Pada comes there. Sthema means, see, Janma is mean creation. Sthema is sustenance of that particular thing. So Tattva Anusthana Vijnana Sthemne, to establish and to sustain the knowledge, Vijnana, about the about the Tattva. Tattva is about the truth, that is the goal to be attained, and the Anusthana, and the practices needed to attain that goal. Tattva Anusthana Vijnana Sthemne. That is point number 1, to establish the knowledge about the truth and the practices needed to attain that goal. Knowledge, and also not only to establish but also sustain. Next, Deva Asura Vibhaga Ukti Purvika. After explaining the classification of the characteristics of Daiva, those who are godly, saintly, with divine qualities, and Asura, those with demonic, cruel qualities. Next, Shastra Vashyata. I'll mute everybody. Shastra Vashyata, that one should know the Shastra. So in the last two shlokas of this chapter, Krishna talks about Shastra, which we will see. Shodasha Uchyate are told in chapter 16. So chapter 16 deals first with the distinction between divine and demonic nature in order to establish what is truth and what is the right conduct which can be attained by following the Shastras. Now, this chapter is very interesting. In the first three shlokas of this chapter, so Lord Krishna tells the list of 26 divine qualities. Before that, we look at the Geetaartha Sangraha Raksha by Swami Yamunacharya. He gives the reference to Gita Bhashya by Ramanujacharya, Shloka 16.1, and to 16.24, which is where where Krishna talks about the Shastra, the following of Shastra. And he also gives a reference to chapter 17.1, which is the next chapter, which is called Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. So we will look at what Ramanujacharya himself says regarding the. Once again, how do I close this chapter? Okay, now I go to next slide. So in the first three shlokas, Lord Krishna tells about 26 divine qualities. There are 26 divine qualities which are there, and there are only 6 demonic qualities which Krishna tells in the fourth shloka. So I'll just read out the first 3 shlokas so that we know. Abhayam sattva samshuddhihi jnana yoga vyavasthitihi danam damascha yajnascha swadhyayastapa arjavam ahimsa satyamakrodhas tyaga shantir apaishunam दयाभूतेषु अलोलुप्त्वं मार्दवं ह्रीहि अचापलं तेजश्शमाधितिश्चौच अद्रोहो नातिमानिता Bhavanti Sampadam Devim Abhijatasya Bharata is what Lord Krishna tells. So, there is a one-line description for each of these 26, which Ramanujacharya gives in the Gita Bhashya, which we will see one by one now. First is, what is the meaning of Abhayam? Abhayam, we say, is fearlessness. What is that fearlessness? So, Ramanujacharya says, Ishtanishta Vyoga Samyoga Rupasya Dukkhasya Hetu Darshanajam Dukkham Bhayam Tat Nivrittihi Abhayam. So, what is Bhayam? What is fear? Fear is Ishta Samyoga, Ishta Vyoga, Anishta Samyoga. Something favorable, whatever, some attractive thing, some very adorable thing which is there with us, that will go away. That kind of thing is fear number 1. Another thing is something which is unfavorable, something which is disgusting will come to me. That is fear number 2. So he tells fear is the grief that arises due to perceiving the cause of grief, due to losing something dear to us or getting something which is undesired. So Ishta Viyoga and Anishta Samyoga. So that is called fear. So not having that kind of fear is called Abhaya. So not having the fear that something unfavorable will come to me or something favorable which is there with me will go away. That kind of fear is not there in a person with divine qualities. That is quality number 1. Nowadays, what happens is, in olden days, what used to happen, if some telegram comes in the middle of the night, everybody will be afraid to open the telegram itself. So that kind of fear was there. Now, even when some mobile phone comes from some distant relative at some odd time in the day, then also there's some kind of fear. So these kind of fears are all what are mentioned there. Sattva samshuddhihi means sattvasya means antahkaranasya rajastamobhyam asamsprishtatvam means the antahkarana, the mind, should be untouched by rajas and tamas. So it should be endowed with only pure sattva, that is sattva samshuddhi. Mind not being associated with rajas and tamas is sattva samshuddhi. Then jnana yoga vyavasthitihi means prakriti viyukta atma swarupa viveka nishtha means steadfastness in knowing the nature of pure self, the Atman, as detached from Prakriti. Prakriti Viyukta, with the distinguishing characteristics like Ashtagunas are told about the Atma. So, with using those Ashtagunas only and nothing associated with Prakriti, that is called Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti. Then Danam. Danam is Nyayarjita Dhanasya Patre Pratipadanam. So, righteous, whatever wealth is earned by righteous means, By dharmic means distributing that wealth among deserving ones. So that is called dana. Dana gets told in the next chapter also. Datavya miti yaddanam. Krishna characterizes dana into three types: Satvika dana, Rajasa dana, and Tamasa dana. In the next chapter, in the 17th chapter. Next, dama. Dama means manasaha vishaya aunmukhya nivritti samshilanam, means controlling the mind from going after the vishaya, the sense objects. The mind always goes towards some sense objects. So controlling the mind from going there is dama. Mind easily runs after sense objects. It is impossible to control it. One has to put mahaprayatna, a great lot of effort, in order to control the mind. This is also told in the Kathopanishad in the form of some a chariot analogy we can see. Next, yajna. Yajna is phalabhisandhirahita bhagavad aradhana rupa mahayajnadi anushtanam. So performance of the mahayajna, that is the pancha mahayajna, is told. It was told in the 3rd chapter, the pancha mahayajna. So pancha mahayajna and others, not as a form of earning something, not as a form of not with the desire of fruits, but as a form of worship of Bhagavan, Bhagavad aradhana rupa, phalabhi santi rahita, without desire of fruits thereof. That is yajna. Yajna bhava comes in the 3rd chapter in great detail. Swadhyaya means savibhutehe bhagavatah tad aradhana prakarasya cha pratipadakah kritsno vedaha iti anusandhaya vedabhyasa nishtha. Means nishtha means nitaram sthiti, means constant study of the Vedas. Why? What are the Vedas? Savibhutehe bhagavatah tadaradhana prakarascha pratipadaka kritsna vedaha, means what Vedas, what they tell is, they tell about the Lord Bhagavan along with all his glories and the aradhana prakaras, the modes of worship of the Lord. So they are all told in the Vedas. Study of those Vedas and then following that in practice. Being steadfast in the study and reciting of the Vedas with the understanding that the Veda and our Vedas are, something is cut off here, the Vedas are Bhagavad Aradhana Prakaras. So in our case, in addition to the Sanskrit Vedas, we have also the Tamil Vedas, that is the Dravid Divya Prabandham. So that also has to be studied and put to practice. So that for us, that's also applies. Next, Tapaha Krichra Chandrayana Dvadashi Upavasadehe Bhagavat Prinana Karma Yogyata apadanasya karanam, means tapas means austerities, penance, like Krichra, Chandrayana, etc. And Dvadashi Upavasa means the Ekadashi Upavasa and the Dvadashi Parayana, like that. So those things which are means of achieving the capability to perform acts which please Bhagavan. Bhagavat Prinana Karma Yogya. So they are meant to please the Bhagavan. So these kind of austerities, penance being done is tapas. Next, Arjavam. Manovakaya karma vrittinam ekanisthata pareshu. So what it means is manas is mind, vak is speech, and kaya means body. So in our thought, word, and deed being uniform. So what happens nowadays, most of us, what we do is we have something in mind, but when we express it in words, we tell it in pleasant words in terms of lies. Means we don't tell what is in the mind, but when in the action, we'll actually show what is there in the mind. So not that kind of thing. Not like sweet talk and doing the wrong, doing the bad action. Having oneness of thought, speech, and bodily action with respect to all the others is arjavam, that is straightforwardness. That is what it is called sometimes. Manovakaya karma vrittinam ekanisthata pareshu, with respect to all the others. Next, ahimsa. Ahimsa is parapida varjanam. Ahimsa is abstaining from causing injury to all the others. So there are 3 types of injury even here also. One is in the manas, in the mind, and another is the vak, means in the speech, and another in the kaya, in the bodily action. So a person who has ahimsa should not disturb anyone, should not cause injury to anyone. Even in the mind, it is what it is told. So sometimes we get violent ideas in the mind, but we refrain from doing that. So slowly, by practice, those violent ideas should all get removed, and that is what is the real ahimsa is told. Satyam yatha drishtartha yoga yatha drishtartha gochara bhuta hitavakyam means satyam means hitavakyam. Hitavakyam means what is pleasant to the others, what is good to the other beings, and that is known through valid means. Satyam bhuta hitam proktam. So satyam is a very difficult thing to sometimes understand. So what one example is given. Suppose somebody has traveled all throughout the day in the hot sun and has come to visit some guest, somebody's house, some friend's house at around 11:30 in the night. He has come to that house. So he's actually hungry. He has not had any food anywhere, but he's fully hungry and tired. So when he comes at 11:30 in the night, and the host will ask him, "Have you had your lunch?" So the guest will be seeing. He'll see that all the lights in the kitchen have been shut off, have been closed, all the stoves have been shut off, and there's no food left in the kitchen. So if he tells that he's hungry, then they have to start cutting the vegetables and cooking the rice and the food and everything. So which will take one and a half more hours. And by the time the host can go to sleep, it will be 1:30 or 1 or 1:30 in the night. So at that time, he should say that I have had my lunch, I had my dinner, I am full, so please don't cook anything for me. Tomorrow morning, you give me breakfast, that kind of thing. So it's actually a lie, but it is hitavachanam. It is good to the other beings. It will not cause trouble to the others. That kind of lie is also considered as truth, is what they give as an example. Akrodha means parapida phalachitta vikararahitatvam. No, means not having a negative mindset of finding benefit only in making other people suffer. So my anger, sometimes anger will cause some kind of suffering to other people. So that is not having that kind of anger is akrodha. Tyagaha is atmahita pratyanika parigraha vimochanam. Parigraha vimochanam means, parigraha means possessing certain things. So tyaga is parigraha vimochanam, renouncing the possessions opposed to one's good, one's goal in the attaining the Paramatman. So anything, any object which takes me away from Bhagavan, not having attraction towards possessing that is tyaga. Shantihi is indriyanam vishaya pravanya nirodha samshilanam means practicing the control of the senses from indulging in sense experience. That is tranquility or peace, shanti. Next, apaishanam. Apaishanam in simple words is absence of gossip. Para anarthakara vakya nivedana akaranam means refraining from speaking what causes damage to others is apaishanam. Not in Kannada we say chadi helodo we say. So that is not having gossip is apaishanam. So even if somebody's defects are there, not highlighting them, that is apaishanam. Next, daya bhuteshu. Daya bhuteshu means having having compassion towards all the living beings. So sarveshu dukkha asahishnutvam means nature of not being able to tolerate grief caused to any being. So this a truly divine quality person will go and help those people in distress. Even animals, not just human beings, animals also. Aloluptvam means aloluptam. Aloluptam means aloluptvam. Aloluptvam iti va pataha vishayeshu nisprahatvam ityarthaha means not desiring sense experience. Mardavam is akathinyam sadhujana samshlesha arhata ityartha. Akathinya means not having harshness, not being harsh in speech, means worthy of mingling with good-natured ones, not speaking harsh words. Even about speech, in 17th chapter, Krishna gives about good kinds of speech, what kind of speech one should say, which we'll see later. Hrihi. Hri means some kind of shyness. Akarya karane vrida means sense of shame, shyness in doing what ought not to be done. If something is not prescribed in the Shastras, a sense of refrain from doing that is hrihi. Achapalam means sprha, sprahaniya vishaya sannidhau. Achanchalyam means not having a fickle mind with respect to getting attracted to sense objects, even when they are present right in front. Kalidasa says, Vikara hetau sati vikriyante esham na chetamti tayeva dhiraha. And this example is given for Lord Shiva when Madana strung the arrow, the flowery arrow on Lord Shiva's mind, how Lord Shiva's mind refrained from getting perturbed, and instead it burned Madana himself. So that is example given in with Kalidasa in the Kumara Sambhavam. So Achapalam is not having fickle mind because of something happening in front of our eyes. Next, Tejaha. Durjanaihi anabhibhavaniyatvam. Not getting overpowered even by bad people, means should have the capacity to sustain the onslaught of wicked people. Kshama is paranimitta pidanubhave api pareshu tam prati chitta vikara rahitata. Not having ill feeling even towards those who have made us suffer. That is kshama. Dhritihi mahatmyam api mahatyam api apadi kritya kartavyata avadharanam means being sure of what ought to be done even when faced with mahatyam api apadi, in face of great calamity also, being having the presence of mind and doing what is the duty to be done. Shaucham is bahya antahkarananam kritya yogyata shastriya means bahya antahkaranam of the external sense bahya and also the internal sense organs, making them fit for doing the Shastra Dharma means purity, both internal and external purity. If the body is impure, we cannot do Shastriya Dharma, karma. If we have not had bath, we cannot do Abhisheka of the god at home. So, internal purity and also external purity, which make us fit to do the Shastriya Dharmas, karmas. This shloka we tell every day in the Sandhya Vandana. Apavitra pavitro va sarvavasthan gatopi va, etc. Next, adroha pareshu anuparodha pareshu swachanda vritti nirodha rahitatvam ityartha means, of course, adroha means droha means kind of treachery, not obstructing others, not interfering or causing obstruction to others as per one's free will. So something may be my instinct may be telling me to do something, but if it causes injury or obstruction to others, refraining from doing that is adroha. Nati manita. We all have some kind of abhimana. We have some kind of I want to be a fan of this person. I want to be a fan of that person is what we say. That's called abhimana, we say. So not having that kind of fan kind of feeling for worldly objects. Asthane garvaha atimanitvam tadrahitata means having pride with respect to wrong aspects or misplaced pride is atimanitva. So suppose some film act is there, I am a super strong fan of that person, so that's actually misplaced because that person is also not a god. So not having that kind of feeling is natimanita. Even not this film actor, even my own possessions, I love this object very much, so I am a fan of this object. That kind of feeling is atimanita. Not having that kind of feeling is natimanita. Ete gunaha daivim sampadam abhijatasya bhavanti. These qualities are found in those born with daivi sampat. So these 26 qualities are a summary of the daivi sampat. And then the 6 asuri sampat qualities, the demonic qualities, are told in only one shloka, which is shloka number 4. Dambho darpo abhimanascha krodha parushyameva ajnanam jabhijatasya Partha Sampada Masuri means, what are those things? Kind of pomposity. Dambha means, oh, I am the only person who does this thing. That kind of pomp kind of feeling. Then arrogance. Then self-conceit. Then wrath or anger. Then harshness or rudeness and ignorance. These are the 6 demonic qualities. So Krishna gives a very detailed description of the demonic type of people, the behavior of demonic people, starting from shloka number 6 or something to up to shloka number 22. So in shloka number 23 and 24, Lord Krishna tells about what is called a Shastra. So Shastra means what is to be followed in our life, what is to be done and what is not to be done are told in the Shastras. And for that we'll look at the Ramanuja Bhashya here for 1 or 2 slides. Tasmat karya vyavasthitau. Karya means what is to be, what is my duty, what is to be done. Akarya means what is not to be done. So with respect to that, upadeya anupadeya vyavasthayam. In deciding what is to be accepted and what is not to be accepted, Shastram eva tava pramanam. Shastra only is the authority for you, is what Krishna tells to Arjuna. Dharmashastra Shastra Itihasa Puranadi Upabrahmita Vedaha. Vedas, which are supplemented by the Dharma Shastras, Itihasas, and Puranas, means Vedas have these additional things which are the Dharma Shastra, Itihasa, and Purana. Yat eva Purushottamakyam Param Tattvam Tat Prinana Rupam Tat Praptyupaya Bhutam cha karma avabodhayanti. So what do these Dharma Shastras and all of them say is that they teach the ultimate reality called Purushottama and the karmas which are of the form of pleasing him and also the means of attaining him. Tat Shastra Vidhanoktam Tattvam Karma cha Jnatva. Having known whatever is told in the Shastra, having known the reality and the karmas as taught in the Shastras, Yathavat Anyuna Atiriktam Vijnaya means having known it thoroughly as it is taught, no more and no less, Kartum Tvam Arhasi, Tad Eva Upadatum Arhasi. So you should accept and perform these only, is what is told. So 23 and 24, slokas 23 and 24 tell about the Shastra. Tasmat Shastram Pramanante Karya Vyavasthitau Jnatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartum Iharhasi. That's what Krishna tells in the 16th chapter. So it tells about the divine and demonic qualities of people, 26 divine qualities and 6 demonic qualities, and also about the importance of Shastra. So this is the summary of the 16th chapter, Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. I have given a short summary of each of these in English. I had prepared these slides about 3-4 years ago, so I'll just flash them quickly. Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhihi Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi Dhanam Tamaha Yajnaha Swadhyaya Tapa Arjavam Ahimsa Satyam Akrodha Tyagaha Shantihi Apaishanam Dayabhuteshu Aloluptvam Mardavam Hrihi Achapalam Tejaha Kshama Dhitihi Shaucham Adroha Natimanita. So these are the 26 divine qualities. So we come to the last the summary shloka one more time. Devasura Vibhagokti Purvika Shastravashyata Tattvanusthana Vijnanasthemne Shodasha Uchyate. So this is a summary of the 16th chapter. So if you have any questions, if I can answer, then we'll answer. Otherwise, we can go straight away to the chanting of the first chapter. Again, we have to start from the first chapter. So we can go for the chanting. We'll go for the chanting. I'll close with the prayer. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Sanmangalani Bhavantu. Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.